those blinded by ambition, those consumed with vengeance. But here, they do not exist. Only winners and losers here. For here, the mighty. Garou Mark of the Wolves.
Can I just say, this is probably one of the best fighting game intros of all time. But yes, this is Garou Mark of the Wolves. This is the final Fatal Fury game released by SNK. Originally released in late 1999 for the Neo Geo MVS arcade system, the same machine that ran the original Fatal Fury 8 years before, and how I played it originally, released on the Dreamcast in 2001 as Fatal Fury Mark of the Wolves, which I used to own back in the day, but in the late 2000s I sold most of my Dreamcast games, and now only have a small amount of what I used to have. I still have JoJo and Resident Evil 2, so that's something, I guess. It's a real damn shame because it's a great port for the Dreamcast, but it's not worth the price of where it goes for today, even just to have. It's even more for an official Neo Geo AES cards. So just get it on Steam or PS4. So my quick history with the Fatal Fury series is originally, if I recall, I played either Real Bout Fatal Fury or Fatal Fury Special in the arcades. Later, my parents would end up giving me a Super Nintendo, and if I recall, it was a family member who gave me this copy of Fatal Fury. And since then, I played a lot of SNK fighting games throughout the years, and I still constantly go back to watching the anime OVA I own on VHS. Anyway, today I'll be mostly focusing on the Steam version of Garou Mark of the Wolves, because that's what Scarlett got for me, and he paid $4.99. But I'll be looking to some other versions too, so let's get on with it. Garou Mark of the Wolves is a standard 1v1 2D fighting game, as you can see. You have a variety of modes. In normal mode, you have arcade, survival, and versus. In multiplayer, that's all. It's for online, and it has rollback, and it plays really smoothly. Practice is training, so like in any standard fighting game. Options are where you can change your difficulty, game time, rounds, and more importantly, the game flashes. Video options are your standard retro game options, scan lines if you want them, and you can change the smoothing and the artwork on the side. Gallery has your concept art and promo art, nothing fancy. And you have your leaderboards and achievements. In normal mode, you have story, which is arcade mode. In that mode, you go through 8 fighters, and when you get to the 6th fighter, is where you have a cutscene. After that person is defeated in that cutscene, you have 2 bullshit SNK bosses to deal with, because it's SNK. And they can't assign bosses that are fair and balanced, because SNK. At the time, you get a nice little ending for each character you play as. Since it's an arcade game, it's meant to eat your quarters, so be prepared to lose to the CPU a lot. Survival is survival. Survive a wave of fighters until you die.
Get serious! Get ready. Survive!
Versus, you can duke it out with a friend or a CPU like any standard fighting game. Now, in multiplayer mode, it's all online. So in there, you make rooms, play with friends, hit training mode while waiting to fight someone, and the same goes into arcade. The fights themselves are pretty good. It uses rollback, so fights are really smooth. I didn't really have any issues. The rollback netcode's only for PS4, Vita, and PC, so depending on what console you played on, you'll get different results. Practice is practice, so lap your moves so you can get your ass handed by the CPU a lot less. And those are the modes. The game in motion looks amazing, with top-notch Neo Geo pixel art. It looks amazing, and this is running on the same console that ran the original Fatal Fury that looked like this. The pixel art to this day still holds up. Each character looks distinct and amazing in motion. And with that, let's talk about the playable characters. Let's start with our returning hero from the past Fatal Fury, Terry Bogard. This time, in the far future, after the events of Real Bout Fatal Fury, throughout the years he's been taking care of Geese's son, Rock Howard. He plays like he always has, asking if you're okay, then Buster Wolf. He's still my personal favorite character to play. Then we have Rock Howard, biological son of Geese Howard, and the adoptive son of Terry. He's on a quest to find info on his mother. His playstyle is a mixture of both Geese Howard and Terry. He's also one of my favorites to play. Hotaru Futaba is a young girl who is friends with animals. She plays alright, I can't really complain. After that, we have both sons of Fatal Fury's Kim Kap-Hwan, Kim Don-Hwan and Kim Jae-hoon. With Don-Hwan being the older of the two, they both play similar to their father, but have their own differences. Gato is a man set on revenge for his father who killed his mother. His playstyle is mostly air juggling. B. Jeanette, she is the leader of the Lilin Knights. She, in this game, is best girl. And she's also really fun to play. You have Freeman, a serial killer, who I'm pretty sure is the inspiration to Carmine in Under Night and Birth. Tizok, or the Griffin in Japan. He is a babyface wrestler, who is a grappler. Big damage if you get close to him. It's kind of insane. In King of Fighters 14, it is implied that he turned heel and became King of Dinosaurs. So there's that. You have Kevin Ryan, a SWAT officer who is a heavy striker. Second to last from the main roster, we have Hokumaru, a young boy who's under the wing of Terry's brother, Andy Bogard. He uses the same Shiranui Ryu style as Andy and Mai. And finally, we have Bud. Yes, that's the name the localizers gave him at the time. Kushnud Butt.
Kushnud Butt versus Terry Bogard.
His name in the Japanese version was Marco Rodriguez.
Marco Rodriguez versus Terry Bogard.
This man is a disciple of Ryo Sakazaki from Art of Fighting, but his playstyle is similar to Ryo. He is really fun to play, and he's actually really good. It's just a shame that the localizers decided to name him Bud. And we have the final two bosses. They are Grant, a large man who can beat the ever-living shit out of you. And we have the final boss, who is a young boy I have never been able to reach, named Kane R. Highland. Fuck this boss. And that's the cast of the game. I would like to talk about lore, but that requires talking a lot about the prior games, and I don't want to bother. Watch a dude called Shoryuken Game who has a full video on the story. I highly recommend it.
Get serious! Round 1. Fight!
Like stated before, it's a one-on-one fighting game, but what does it do to separate itself from other fighting games? Well, at the time Garou Mark of the Wolves was out in the arcades, its main competition was Street Fighter III Third Strike, and other SNK fighting games at the time like King of Fighters 99. Garou has the Tactical Offenses Position System, or the TOP, depending on what you set it at either at the beginning, middle, or end of the health bar when you are selecting a character. It automatically starts, giving you increased damage, slow health regen, and a special attack exclusive using TOP. The game also has a Just Defense system, a perfect block that recovers a small amount of health with each Just Defense, and with the ability to guard cancel. Other than that, depending on what character you have chosen, you input different specials. And with everyone, you have a meter at the bottom, and with a meter growing, it'll become an S. With that, you can do a light version of a super. If you keep fighting without using that super and max out the meter, it'll become a P. With that, you can even use a stronger super. Again, super inputs will depend on what fighter you choose. Some are easier than the others, so keep that in mind and look at the move list. So let's have a quick talk about the online multiplayer of the game. Originally, this game had delay-based netcode, which pretty much means it's pretty bad unless you're in a nearby region. And in early 2020, Code Mystics added rollback to PC, PS4, and Vita. Yes, there is a Vita version, and I'll be talking about that in a bit. The online itself is fine. There were a few hiccups there, but the matchups themselves were super smooth. So if you're going to play online, it'll be a good experience. Or, just stick to Fightcade. I want to say thank you to Nick who helped me out test online. Now, I want to talk about the different versions that I happen to own. Like stated at the beginning of the video, I used to own the Dreamcast version. It was a fine port with the only major differences from the AE version was the title screen, since it said Fatal Fury Mark of the Wolves instead of Garou Mark of the Wolves. But then either way, it tells you it's Garou. So, yeah. But yeah, the Dreamcast version is really expensive these days. And who really owns a Dreamcast anyway? Me. I do. I like my Dreamcast. I still play it. But I digress. There's a PS4 version that's the same as the Steam version. It looks great, plays great. There's a second Garou Mark of the Wolves version on PS4, and it's the only version that's available on Switch. If you have a PS4, just buy the Code Mystic versions that I've been talking about, and just avoid this one. No online multiplayer, only local, but you have the ability to change what region version so you can play with the Japanese names if you want. If you buy a PS4, you also get the PS Vita version for free, since it's a cross-buy title. So how's the Vita port? Pretty good. It's the same version with rollback included, so it's a good port. There's also a mobile port. That one was done by .emu. It's pretty bareback. It's both on iOS and Android, and I got it on Humble Bundles years back. Since I have it on Android, I can play both on my phone and tablet. My phone is a Galaxy S20 Ultra, and I have a Galaxy Tab S5e. And this version doesn't like running on my phone or tablet regularly. Well, that's a lie. For some reason, the Humble Bundle version didn't work, but a cracked version on a website works fine. Apparently, the Humble Bundle version doesn't like anything past Android 9. It seems, but like a lot of the other apps just don't work. It has full ultra-wide support, and it looks amazing on a high-quality screen. Controls on it are something, alright. You can use touch controls, and they work fine. Good luck trying to do actual long block strings on it, though. You can hook up a controller like an Xbox controller or a PlayStation controller using Bluetooth or USB via an OTG cable, and it works fine. What was giving me some issues though was my arcade stick. For some reason the circle button was just not working for some reason. But then I was reminded that I have an Android and I could just boot up RetroArch and play it there. And then play it on VC2. Then Capcom vs SNK 2. Amazing what you can play on tablets these days. I would just avoid the mobile port honestly and just stick to the console PC version, or if you really want to play it on a phone, just play it via RetroArch. So what is the legacy of Garou Mark of the Wolves? Well, throughout the years, characters like Rock and BJNet have appeared in other games outside of Garou. Like in Capcom vs SNK 2 has Rock, and King of Fighters 11 has BJNet, Gato, and Tizok on their own team. And Garou to this day is still considered one of the greatest fighting games of all time, and I agree. I constantly go back to Garou and play it since it's fun and challenging. I can still recommend the PS4 PC version because it has great online and it's pretty much the best version. Try avoiding the Arcade Archives collection, but it's still fine if you don't need online. It's still a great port. And if you're on PC, well, you have options like Fightcade and Final Burn, so go crazy. Or go even more crazy and buy a Neo Geo AES version and just buy the card of Garou. Your choice. I can't stop you. Also, while I was recording this voiceover, they announced Garou Mark of the Wolves Terry as an alternate costume for Terry in King of Fighters 15. Shatter all expectations. Which I'm looking forward to whenever it comes out. So, yay. Anyway, I've been Fonzie. I have another SNK game review if you want to look at it. It's about Metal Slug XX on the PS4 and PC. So if you want to look at it, I have a card up there. It's also in the description. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe because it helps out, and you can follow me on Twitter at Fonzie's Revenge. You can watch me on Twitch at Fonzman, and I upload those Twitch streams to my second channel. So feel free to look at those. Anyway, let the legend of the Hungry Wolf live on, and I'll see you next time to whatever game I'll be playing. Later.
Game over.